Hello everybody and welcome back to another new vlog. Thank you for joining me once again. You catch me just at this very moment trying to set up a long exposure here on Trawsfynydd Lake, which is in North Wales, just north of Barmouth, where I'm staying for a week. And at the minute I'm trying to shoot a 1 minute exposure at a f/16. And I'm just trying to set that up right now, but I've also got a polarizing filter on the lens and obviously the 10-stop neutral density filter, and this is giving me a 1 minute exposure at f/16, like I said. And I'm going to set the exposure up now and take the shot, but it's proving a little difficult at the moment because I can obviously see what I'm looking at and I've got a perfect composition in front of me, and I'll tell you more about that composition in just a moment once I've set up the shot. So that should be the shot set up, and it's now shooting that long exposure. Hopefully, if I can put my cable release down somewhere, I'll be all right. Right, I'm just going to let that go and leave that hanging. So basically, I've got a shot in front of me, and I'm going to turn you around and show you just here on the lake behind me. There's a little rock just a few feet into the lake that I'm focused on at the moment, and then across on the other side of the lake, which I don't know whether you can see on the video, but you should see it on the photo, there is a decommissioned nuclear power station, and it's like just two big solid concrete buildings next to each other right over on the other side of the lake from where I'm standing. And I think this rock in the foreground kind of leads your eye quite nicely towards that power station in the background. I hope so anyway. I'm just going to stop this exposure now and see what it looks like on the back of the camera, and then I'll let you see the image. Well, that's come out very nicely, but I think it's giving quite a dark colour cast to it, and I think that's partly to do with the 10-stop neutral density filter. I thought this for a while. I've had the filter for years, and every time I use it I always think there's kind of a very dark brownish tinge to the image. I can probably alter that in post-production. It's fairly straightforward, but also I'm trying now to reduce the colour temperature quite some way so it gives it that more blue hue, but also I'm going to leave the exposure running for a little bit longer and try and bring up that exposure a little bit so it looks a little bit better. So hopefully in a few more seconds time that's going to be a beautiful image. So I'm going to show you the image now on the back of the camera. It's actually worked out at about 90 seconds rather than 1 minute, and that's turned out quite nicely. So I'll show you the image now. There you go. I don't know how well you can see that on the back of the screen. There's a bit of glare coming off it, so I'll try my best to show you. But yeah, I've got the rock in the foreground, and I believe I've got the power station in the background as well, with all those beautiful clouds. There's a bit of sheen on the water which the polarizing filter has taken off for me, and also that 10-stop neutral density filter has given me a 90-second exposure, and you can see there's a bit of movement in those clouds above, and of course the water itself looks perfectly still because that's all been blurred out during that longer exposure. Obviously I'm also going to have to crop into that image a little bit, not very much. I usually shoot in a 16:9 orientation and then crop to a 4:5, which I prefer. And I think there's a little bit of space around the image, enough to just about get away with doing that. I've also got to be careful with the grass in front of the camera, because that's just encroaching on the very bottom of the image, and if I try and cut it out I feel like I might be too close to the rock. So I'll have to have a look at that one, but here's the image anyway. I'm following a route around Trawsfynydd Lake today, but at various points along the route the path that I'm taking doesn't actually stick religiously to the side of the lake itself. So every now and then I'm walking away from the lake and then kind of cutting back in towards it, and so I'll get these opportunities to pick up brilliant compositions as I get closer to the lake, but also then as I'm walking away I'm finding that sometimes there may be a little bit of elevation which brings me above the lake, and if I can get a decent view at that point over the lake, then I can get some really interesting shots. I've just stopped at the side of the road to try and take a shot of the power station. I can't see it now, there's some trees in the way of me, but I was right at the edge of the lake at the time, on the side of the road, and took the photo. I tried it with the 100 to 400mm lens at 135, and I think it works, but I also decided to put the 24 to 105 lens on and try it 105, and I think that also works. When I've decided exactly which of those images I prefer, I'll put the photo on screen for you now. Well, that was immense. The elevation gain in the last few minutes has been incredible. I've got up to about 280 metres in about 5 minutes, which is quite impressive for me personally. I don't know how well you can see though, just behind me, there is, somewhere near there, there is the power station just over my shoulder. I'm obviously quite a lot closer to it now than I was when I took that last photo, but it's been a really impressive walk so far. Hasn't been much in the way of compositions yet, because like I said earlier, sometimes I've been coming away from the lake itself and finding that I can't actually see anything onto the lake. So it's been a difficult one, but it's been really enjoyable. And now that I'm here, I'm really glad that I'm here, because now I can see the power station just in front of me. I've got an idea of how long it's going to take me to get back. Essentially I'd like to reach that power station, and then just off in the distance behind the power station there's a main road that I want to get to, and once I get to there I can then get a bus back to Barmouth from here, but also over towards the power station. I think just the other side before you get to the main road there's a visitor centre, and I'm sure there'll be a cafe there, so it'd be nice to stop there and have a bite to eat. Anyway, I'm going to move on and see if I can capture some more images. I'll probably get a bit closer to the power station before I take another shot, but it's beautiful out here, quite impressive really. I'm going to move on. Well, that was quite interesting. I had to stop there because I saw that the scene opened out a little bit, and I could see down onto the lake, and I could see quite a bit of the lake from where I was standing with that slight bit of elevation, and it was perfect for looking out just across the lake towards the power station. So I took an image there. Well, I took a couple of images. Can't decide which I like the most, so I'll show you the best one in just a moment. But also I turned round as well and looked along the side of the lake on the path where I'm heading now, and further along I can see a little hut towards the other side of the top end of the lake, and I don't know what that is. I don't think that that's the visitor centre at all, because I think that's slightly further round as you get to the top of the lake and head back round towards the main road again. So I'm pretty sure that's not a visitor centre, but I don't know what it is yet. So I took a photo of that as well, because it looked quite nice at the top of the lake with the lake spread out in front of it. So I hope you like those images. I'm going to keep walking now down this path. I'm starting to lose quite a bit of elevation anyway, so I should be back at ground level fairly soon, and then we'll have another look at what the lake looks like from there. Ladies and gentlemen, I have some news for you. That building that I spoke of earlier when I was up at the top of the hill, coming down and looking down on the lake, it may well be a dam. In fact, it is a dam. I can see it from here. So the path now leads off towards the building that I took a photo of, and from the other side of it, when I was at the top of the hill, I couldn't see there was a dam on this side. But as I've walked down and started to look at Google Maps, I've discovered there is actually a dam, and I kind of don't understand why I hadn't worked it out myself. Obviously, where you've got a man-made lake like Trawsfynydd is, with a nuclear power station on it, you've got to regulate the flow of the water into and out of that power station. So it makes sense that there would be a dam somewhere here. But it's absolutely fantastic. I'm going to get a bit closer to it and see if I can get a shot of it. But I think I'm going to enjoy this one. Wasn't expecting it, to be honest, but here I am now, and I'm going to have to experience it, really. So why don't you come along and see it with me? I'm actually on top of the dam wall right now. Apologies for the noise. There's some sort of processor going on here, something underneath the wall itself. I'm sure that's to do with the dam itself, but I don't know for certain. But anyway, you can see the dam behind me, just there over the wall. I'm going to head along over the dam wall now. I think from the other side, there may even be a decent photograph here. There might even be one here if I get right over in the corner just there. So let's see what I can do here. And then from there, I'm going to head to the cafe, not far from here. So that's what a nuclear power station looks like up close and personal. That thing there is the nuclear power station here at the edge of Tradsfinith Lake. It's taken me about 2.5 hours to walk from where I took my first photo, looking back towards this place, to getting here. Now obviously I've stopped along the way to take a few photos, and I've stopped to record a bit of video footage and tell you what I'm doing. So it may well have taken slightly less than that if I hadn't been stopping every now and then. But this is quite an inspiring sight, isn't it? So that's the power station. It's been decommissioned for 30 years, in fact 32 years. So there's no danger of it at the moment. But there has to be a skeleton staff working in there all of the time now. Purely and simply to make sure that the reactor doesn't explode and nothing goes wrong. Because it's uranium in there, and obviously uranium leaking out into the atmosphere would do a lot of damage around here. But yeah, it's perfectly safe for me to be standing here. Nothing wrong with it. Like I said, it was decommissioned 32 years ago, so I'm quite happy standing here, quite confident that I'm not going to be in any danger. Anyway, I'm going to leave the vlog here. The cafe is just down the road, so I'm going to stop there and see if I can get a cup of coffee and maybe a cake. And if you've enjoyed the vlog, please remember to give it a thumbs up, and also please remember to subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and I look forward to seeing you again on another vlog very soon. Bye for now.